It's a beautiful day, you're heading to school, and you start explaining everything you know in front of your teacher. And she may be wondering, how do you speak so well in English? Well, let me explain. It all started when I was born. I knew nothing about the language until I heard multiple English words from my mother. When it comes to learning English, I had a strong habit of learning more about the language. As you all know, I'm Italian American, and my mother and sister are also Italian American. My father, on the other hand, is only Italian, nothing else to say. Ever since I was born, I have heard multiple English words from my mother herself, where she used to live and graduate high school in the United States. Despite living in Italy, I was able to speak and write well at perfect level. I also discovered that the language I knew for the first time was like yes, no, thanks, bye, good, bad, night, day, morning, and of course, mommy. Speaking of mommy, she has taught me a lot of things for my entire life. I mean, every single mother teaches their siblings for a brighter future, right? But in my case, I was taught by simply communicating with each other in English, like trying to go to the bathroom, asking her some help, and of course, I'm hungry! Whoa, son, what's going on?
You know what? I love myself. Even though I look like a burnt chicken nugget, I still love myself.
Every day we practice quite well. But what about reading and writing? Well, it all started when my mother gave me a kid's book, and I tried reading these books pretty well. I simply read them in English to better understand the literacy that I want to write. Speaking of writing, I wrote a letter to Santa Claus like I want a super toy for Christmas. It was a really fun journey at the time. I also watch a lot of VHS movies. Most of them are from Sesame Street with Elmo's World's episodes. I loved Elmo so much. Not only was great, but the original language of that tape truly understands where I know the phrases by heart. Years passed by, and I started going to school more often lately. And when the teacher asked to do these favorable activities, I enjoyed learning more about the language. The present perfect, grammar correction, adjectives, and so many new words I have never been or understood in my life. However, most of my classmates don't want to learn or understand English. It felt like I was lonely, whether trying to improve or trying to help each other by being better in English. Even if I tried to help and solve their homework and so many other problems for them, I was too shy to offer any help because I hadn't developed much in the way of social skills yet. The teachers instructed us to focus on our English grammar test. The harsh reality is that it feels like incredibly limiting that I am pressured to write exclusively in British English. I mean, if you know American English and you live outside the US, have you ever noticed that 90% of the world only use British and 10% use American? Well, I had to deal with the same thing till I have finished high school. The system applies to elementary, middle, and high school to use only the British language over and over again. I worked hard on the class test, as did others, and we eventually submitted it to a teacher after an hour. The following week, she returned our test, and I received an average grade of A or B+. Meanwhile, one of my classmates received an F. That's because, based on their skills, they're not good enough at speaking English. In which in this case, the classmates said to the teacher, But why an F? That's because your grammar isn't good enough, young man. I understand, ma'am. Don't worry, my friend. I'm pretty sure you'll improve next time. Thanks, buddy. As time goes on, I have gotten more advanced of a writing and reading level more often. Another way that I have learned English is that I went to New York just to get a B1 intermediate certificate to prove that I speak and write well. Because not only can it help me understand better, but it will also help me to communicate with more people with the same language like a professional person. Others will continue to be lazy about not learning anything about it and spend more time watching brainrot content. Mom says that your screen time's up.
Bro, I don't care what Mom says. I want to stay here in my room instead.
Speaking of content, The internet is an incredible gateway to mastering a new language.
Ehi ciao, questo è il mio paese. Guardate questo qua.
Hey, hello. This is my country. Look at this.
No. I'm not that type of Italian chef that only knows their jester, pizza, pasta, or whatever. As someone who is Italian American, I definitely know their cultures on both countries. But anyway, I didn't use Duolingo, I didn't use Google Translate, and I didn't even use ChatGPT to learn the language. Instead, I have used YouTube. Thank you. I've been experiencing learning a new language by watching multiple English-speaking content creators like Playmark124, Benjymations, Marcus Brownlee, and much more. These YouTube entertainers help me understand more than the other types of learning skills. Not only entertainment videos, but also educational ones. Whether it is life skills that weren't taught in schools, how to improve YouTube videos, yada yada. As an adult, I've had the wonderful opportunity to meet new friends this year, particularly through YouTube. Yes, I'm talking to you in this video right now. I've connected with many students from different countries, and I'm often impressed by their fluency in English. This experience has inspired me to continue learning and growing. Not only am I getting used to it, but I've also been dedicating myself to personal development, absorbing knowledge and skills that will pave the way for a brighter future. Navigating the ups and downs of this journey has taught me valuable lessons regardless of the challenges I encounter. But you must believe in yourself to learn a good language that fits you well. Because if I had been born somewhere else and lived with my parents from a different country, I would have been lost. And there you have it, guys. I've had lots of difficult moments with college more often, but hey, at least I was able to finish this video already. Whew, finally. But I have a question for you. If you live in another country, what was your first language of your life? And how is your English level doing? I would love to get your answers in the comments below. I also had another difficult moment of my first job a year ago, which is why I made a storytime animation on this. Otherwise, thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.